All right, welcome everyone. Excited to be with you here today for another great interview. This time, I'm really excited this time of year, especially because it can get so overwhelming with all the holidays and the stresses and things that we're dealing with. So we have a special guest here today. Christine is owner of Honu Therapeutic Massage, and the reason I'm excited to have her today, especially for you guys out there who are women, because she loves helping women who are overwhelmed, they're exhausted, they're searching for that like ever elusive perfect balance. If that sounds like you, then you're going to enjoy this interview today. Christine really likes to encourage women putting themselves first and giving them that opportunity to practice self-care, helping you really become more present, more grounded, and get through some of that busyness that I think for a lot of women out there, the busyness is constant, but it amps up, especially this time of year. So Christine does body-mind coaching as well as massage therapy. Welcome today, Christine.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
You bet. I'm very excited to have you as well. So I know, working with a lot of women and different stresses and things, this time of year can get overwhelming. And sometimes I think the mindset is, I'm just going to push through to the new year. Sometimes the mindset is like you get burned out before you even get there. What are some of the things that you see stressing women out, especially this time of year?
Yeah, I definitely agree on that. We see that a lot. I think it's very common. And I completely understand because I've been there. I know what it's like to try and push through and push through and push through. But, we have all our daily expectations and things that we do and our to-do list. But then on top of that, we add in all these other things with holiday planning and gift giving and holiday parties and whatever it is, but we just overload our schedule even more. And, if you like to be busy, you already have a busy schedule, so then you put all this other stuff on top of it, and then there's no other room for you. There's only so much time in the day, and I think it's easy to put yourself kind of on the back burner during this time because even more so, it's a time for giving, so people kind of block that receiving part. But I think ultimately, what it comes down to with self-care for women is just feeling that guilt of making the time and spending the money on themselves, and especially this time of year, right? So the first thing to go a lot of times is your self-care, and you think, oh, if I just keep at it, if I just get through it, and that doesn't always work. So yeah, I think that it can start so soon too. It can start all the way in October with Halloween, and then it just constantly goes, and you think you're just going to be able to make it, and it doesn't always work that way.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head with that thought process, getting almost stuck in that mindset of I'll catch up sometime, I'll catch up sometime,
Yeah.
I'll catch up sometime. And pretty soon you're probably in the new year and like you catch up for a week or two, and then all of a sudden just those old patterns return, and probably the year goes by and you're like, oh man, not only have I not caught up, but now more is going to be added this time of year.
Right. It just keeps piling on and on, and sometimes your body tells you when enough is enough, and sometimes we don't catch it, and then we end up getting sick, around the holidays, or, before you have that holiday party that you were looking forward to going to, because you try and push through it.
Definitely. So what would you say, I think the mindset is probably one of the most important things, because there's some strategies I know we can share here in a moment, but what would you say are some of the most important mindset pieces for a woman out there, whether she has kids or whether she's on her own or she's hardworking, some of the things that she can shift in her mind to start to put herself first?
Yeah, definitely. I think mindset's a huge one. So a lot of people think self-care is selfish, and it's quite the opposite. It really is. When you're actually caring and nurturing and loving yourself, you're actually going to be able to fill up your cup and better serve everyone else around you. So it's like a ripple effect. So when you think of a mom, or when you're parenting, you're constantly providing and taking care of others, or even us with massage and chiropractic. You're constantly giving and serving the people because that's what we love to do. But you can't do that unless you're taking care of yourself first. So I think, having the mindset of knowing that, yes, you are ultimately, doing it for yourself and prioritizing for yourself, but when you have the mindset of like, oh, I'm going to do this for my family because I'm going to be my best self, because I'm going to be able to give the most love and, come from a place of joy instead of, trying to give on an empty cup when you're exhausted and burnt out and, there's nothing left to give. So knowing that it's only going to make you a better mom or a better entrepreneur or better employee or whatever it is, like knowing that everyone around you is only going to benefit from it, taking care of yourself. So just changing the mindset of what self-care really is.
I think that's great to even though maybe it's a massage, maybe it's exercise, maybe it's eating healthy, whatever it is, it's easy to think, oh, it's for me. But really, I love that shift of I'm going to take an hour, I'm going to get a massage, I'm going to relax because it's actually for my family. It's for all the people I care for.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the easiest way. So then you get on that mindset that it doesn't feel so selfish, right?
Mm-hmm, definitely. Yeah, and that's what we see a lot in our office is a mom who's, pushing herself, and she comes in and finally decides to take care of herself, but her cup is so empty, you can see that she wants to give, like her heart's so full, and she wants to give, but the energy and the resources just aren't there to be able to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. What about, if there's any other mindset things, otherwise, what are some of the strategies? I know this time of year, it might be less easy to say, I'm going to do 20 new self-care things every week because, there is, the reality here of the time is more limited. So what are some of the self-care things that you see help women that are more time efficient, or you get the most bang for your buck, we'll say?
Mm-hmm. So, you're right. There's so many things that you can do and so many things that I can throw at you right now of things that are going to help during this time of year or all throughout the year. But, as a body mind coach, and one of the things that's really important that I do with my clients is just taking a pause. As simple as that, taking a pause and just breathe, just taking in a slow breath and checking in with yourself. I think when we're constantly going, we're constantly up in our head, and we need to get back into our bodies and get connected again. So we can get really disconnected during this time of year because we're pushing through and just trying to do instead of just really be back in your body and enjoy this time of year. So, checking in with yourself meaning like ask yourself some questions. It may sound a little off or out there, but I think that when you really get back into your heart and listen to your body and your intuition, you're going to be able to make, better decisions and better choices and really spend this time of year how you want to spend it. Like, what do you want the holidays to look like for you? So if you take a pause and you breathe and you ask questions like, how does my body feel right now? Is it feeling really heavy or does it feel light? Are my shoulders super tensed up because I'm carrying the weight of the world on my shoulders right now? Or do I feel, that awful pit in my stomach because, I'm doing something that I really don't want to do? So it's just really checking in. You can ask more specific questions this time of year if it's, because you're overbooking your calendar and you have all these parties to go to, you can kind of more think, is this party something that I want to go to or not go to? Like, how am I feeling about this? And just kind of see what comes up for you, and so it's just more of checking in, like just to make sure that you're prioritizing yourself and prioritizing what it is that you want to do and how you want to spend this holiday season.
Yeah, I think continuing on what we talked about before is if the beginning of the year gets busier, you've been in this busy mode, and if you've never slowed down, like you just keep doing what you've always done, or maybe you have 12 holiday parties or all these traditions you always go to, and you never even stop to pause. Wait a minute, do I still want to go to this one? Do I still really know these people that well? Do my kids want to go? Excuse me. So getting out of that just autopilot. I know for myself, sometimes even before I walk out the door in the morning, I'll just sit on the couch and take a few deep breaths. And I mean, it might be 30 seconds, and it's amazing how that short of a time period helps me ground, and is also probably a good reflection of how my mind can just be racing. That it's like, whoa, even just that short of a time makes a difference. So I must be going really strong before I do stop and pause.
Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't take much. I mean, you can do it for 30 seconds, you can do it for 20 minutes and make more of a meditation of it, but you're definitely going to ground yourself and feel more connected, be more mindful of your choices. And you can do it first thing when you wake up in the morning. You can do it when you're sitting in the Target parking lot, waiting to go in. Whatever works for you is just really taking that time to check in with yourself.
And what would you say? I picture some scenarios being easy to say, yep, we're not going to do that this year. And then other things might be pretty stressful, and you're reflecting, like you say, oh my gosh, if we don't do that, and you feel like your stomach getting kind of queasy, even though you would love to not do it. Maybe it's a certain, friend or relationship or party you've always gone to, and you do actually want to say, you know what, this year's going to be different. How do you suggest a woman approach something that might be more challenging?
Yeah. I mean, I think, going back to changing your mindset, if you think, oh, going into this is going to be a stressful situation, then it probably is. I mean, we create a lot of our own stress in our body, in our life. So I think changing the mindset of, how I want this to be, and the intention, like the intention of what it may be that, wherever you're going, maybe the intention of it is, I'm going to go, but I'm going to be home by this certain time, or I'm going to go, but I'm going to limit myself to this many drinks, or, whatever it may be, but just having more of an intention and being more mindful of what, how you want it to be, I guess.
Yeah, that's great. And I think, too, there's definitely times when I've had challenging conversations, and sometimes it's surprising how well it does go. Or, maybe the other person involved is actually thinking the same thing, and they're a lot more understanding than you might be expecting.
Yeah. You can't set those expectations of like knowing how people are going to react or what's going to happen. So
exactly.
Yeah, just listening to your heart and doing what feels right for you.
Okay. Are there any other things that you recommend this time of year as far as simple self-care strategies?
Yeah. Another thing, I would say as much as possible, trying to kind of stick with your regular routine, right? So whatever that is, kind of pick out those non-negotiables. So, if it's waking up at a certain time, or going to bed at a certain time, or sleep, or meditation, or going to the gym, or meal prepping, whatever it is for you, like pick those things that you absolutely do not want to cut out, because that it's not a good idea. For me, my non-negotiable is sleeping. So I want to make sure that I get enough sleep. So I think I mentioned earlier, like, I'm going to be home at a certain time if I go to this party so that I get enough sleep, because I know, like, my body needs this and I want the energy for tomorrow, So just keeping with your regular routine and scheduling it in your actual calendar. So, whenever there's anything that I want to make a priority, I tell my clients to put it in their calendar and write down why it's important. Because when you have your why and know why it's important to you, and how it's going to make you feel, then you're more likely to stick with it instead of just, not making it a priority and forgetting about it. So it's a lot easier to prioritize something if it's really that important to you, and you don't just see yoga in the calendar, you see, I'm going to yoga because, this is going to make me feel better. I'm going to be able to clear my mind and be more focused and grounded, and just how it's going to affect you and why it's important to you.
Definitely. Yeah, and I noticed for my wife and I, we talk a lot about is like, what is our main habit? If we have all these healthcare things or self-care things, what is, if I do one, it makes other things easier. Like for me, if I notice if I exercise, then I naturally eat better. I naturally go to sleep a little earlier. I naturally just have more energy. And like a lot of other things become a lot easier to do if I do this one. So that's something that I think you can identify that most important one that can be, and prioritize that one. It's going to make everything else easier.
Yeah, exactly. That's so true. I mean, you get the momentum going and you can, I mean, there's a million things you can do that are good for yourself, but just picking the one and sticking with it will make everything else. Because once you find out how good you can feel and how good, your body is designed to feel, it's a lot easier to stick with that.
Definitely. Yeah. And I guess the other thing I've been doing this time of year, because I've been busy myself, a lot going on, is still exercising, but for way shorter time periods. Mm-hmm. So there's still like this rhythm. Even like this morning, I thought, all right, we got this interview. I wanted to maybe be outside for 20, 30 minutes in the woods and go for a little run. But I'm like, I don't have that much time. I'm going to do something short. So I did a 10-minute version of it and still got some fresh air, still got some movement, still got it going. And I noticed not only did it still give me a pick-me-up, but it stayed in my mind as a habit. Instead of doing absolutely nothing, then it's like pretty soon, a few days, a few weeks of absolutely nothing, then it's just gone completely, and then you really have to start from scratch come the new year, whenever you want to pick it up again.
Exactly. I think that happens. I mean, that's so easy to happen is, if you stop doing it completely, right, then you have to pick it up, and it's so much harder to pick it back up if you completely stop. But if you stick with the routine and the habits, that the healthy habits that you have, whether, you just have to change it up a little bit, maybe you only have a certain amount of time to do it, but you're still doing it, right? You're still doing it. So keeping that habit going, yeah, it's so much easier than to get back into it in January instead of just completely, forgetting about all of it and stopping. Yeah, so I think if we want to make things easier on ourselves, that would be a definitely win there.
Nice. Okay. What about, I know this time of year because sometimes just stuff does get thrown out for routines, and diet I know is a huge one this time of year because we've got holiday parties and Christmas cookies and all these things coming at us. Willpower is definitely being challenged around the clock. And I know for myself, I like to, it's like, well, it's not like this happens all the time, so I do want to enjoy it as well. How do you recommend people find that balance between giving themselves some leniency or forgiveness and not feeling too guilty around things, and finding that type of balance?
Oh, yeah, that's a good question. So I think, forgiveness is a huge form of self-care and being kind to yourself. You don't want to carry any guilt around with you, but, knowing and being mindful of it, go enjoy. This is what the holiday season is about, right? Enjoying that time and having the intentions set before you go somewhere, I think is really important. And knowing, I think, how you're going to feel. A lot of people can feel really good when they eat and overindulge and drink and feel really good when it's going on, but then don't feel great 10 minutes from now or the next day. So I think just being more mindful of, going back to the questions, you can ask your body those questions, how is this going to make me feel, So still being able to enjoy yourself. You definitely want that, but I think you're going to enjoy yourself even more if you enjoy yourself in the present and be very present, but then also being able to feel really good the next day too. So I think that part is going to be, make you enjoy it a lot more, I guess.
Yes, the ongoing effects are so important. Also, to keep the momentum. The momentum can swing up or down pretty quickly this time of year. So same theme there. Okay.
Yeah. So I think it's with anything. With whether it's the holiday parties or going, trying to get everything on your to-do list done, and just knowing that you're human and yourself for things that might not get done, and everything doesn't have to be perfect. So do your best and, let go of the rest of, the holiday stress. So,
Definitely. Okay. So as we're wrapping up today, any other final thoughts or strategies? I know I do want to, we'll share how people can get a hold of you. We also have an event that we're doing together here coming in January, so we can talk about that in a moment. Before we do, though, any parting thoughts or final strategies you want to share?
I wrote a question down. Let me see if I have it here. Um, so I guess this kind of goes with, this goes with the self-care and checking in with yourself, but just slowing down and asking yourself, um, what you need to do to care for yourself this holiday season. So just ask yourself that question and then ask yourself how you can do that.
Cool. We talk so often with moms in our practice how your motherly intuition is so strong when it comes to your kids. So for whether you're a mom or not, know that your self-intuition is really strong too. And have that moment, ask yourself, hey, what can I do? Like you said, and it's your body, your mind, they'll tell you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely will.
Cool.
You just have to listen for it.
And we can put some of your info in the contact or in the comments section below, some contact info. Does that sound good for people to get a hold of you?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Okay. Do you prefer they call or email, website? What's your...
Well, they can definitely go on my website. That's going to have, my phone number and email. Email is probably the best way, just
good.
because when I'm with clients, it's hard to always get to the phone call. So we can definitely do email, and then I can respond back with a phone call.
Okay. Sounds good. And then we will mention, too, in January, we are having a women's vision board event for women that are in this scenario that we've been talking about here. And we know that you want to get through the holiday season and actually have an opportunity to start the new year off on a good foot and putting yourself as a priority in 2019. Do you want to share a little bit about what that event's going to entail?
Yeah, I'm super excited about this. So I love vision board workshops, and we're going to have such an amazing space to have it in at your office this time. So this is going to be great. So it's pretty much a full day event where you're going to be able to come and leave everything else at the door and just focus on you. So this is a good day for you to have that self-care and be able to set intentions and get really clear on what it is that you want and kind of focus on how you want to feel for 2019 and set some good goals for the year, and then we'll be able to get into creating the vision board and creating the life that you really desire.
That's awesome. We are super excited to have you as well, Christine, for that. So stay tuned for more details. I think we have a registration, more Eventbrite page ready to go. So we'll put that in the comments as well. Definitely check that out. If you need some support in the meantime, definitely reach out to Christine and know that we are here for you guys. So thanks so much today, Christine. Really enjoyed it. I think a lot of people get some good value on getting through this holiday season.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You bet. See you guys later.